Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the history of the world's most popular sport, football. Have you ever wondered where this beautiful game came from? How did it evolve from a chaotic pastime into the global phenomenon we see today, with billions of fans and superstars like Messi and Ronaldo? Well, you're in the right place. The story is much older and more fascinating than you might think. It's a journey that spans continents, crosses centuries, and involves everything from ancient emperors to rowdy English schoolboys. So grab your favorite team's jersey, get comfortable, and let's kick off this incredible historical adventure. Our story doesn't begin on the grassy pitches of England, but thousands of years ago in ancient China. Imagine it's the Han Dynasty, way back in the 2nd or 3rd century BC. Soldiers are training, not just with weapons, but with a leather ball stuffed with feathers and hair. They're playing a game called Cuju, which literally translates to kickball. The goal was to kick the ball into a small net fixed on bamboo canes, and here's the kicker: you couldn't use your hands. Cuju was more than just a game. It was a form of military fitness training, a source of entertainment for emperors, and even a game played by women. It had rules, it had skill, and it had a clear objective. While it's not a direct ancestor, Cuju is one of the earliest recorded forms of a game that looks remarkably like modern football. Now let's journey west to ancient Greece. Around the same time, the Greeks were playing a game called episkiros. This was a much more rough and tumble affair. Two teams, usually of 12 to 14 players, would line up on a field marked by a central line. The objective was to throw the ball over the opposing team's heads and across their back boundary line. Unlike Cuju, episkiros involved using your hands, and it was known for being quite violent. It was less about finesse and more about brute strength and teamwork. It was popular among soldiers, especially in Sparta, which tells you everything you need to know about its intensity. It was a game designed to build camaraderie and physical toughness. The Romans, as they often did, saw what the Greeks were doing and decided to make their own version. They adapted episkiros into a game called harpastum, which means to seize or to snatch. And snatch they did. Harpastum was even more chaotic than its Greek predecessor. The ball was smaller and harder, about the size of a modern softball. The game was played on a rectangular field, and the goal was to keep possession of the ball and get it over the opponent's boundary line. It involved running, tackling, passing, and a lot of physical contact. Imagine a blend of football, rugby, and an all-out brawl, and you're getting close to harpastum. Roman legions spread this game across their vast empire, including to the island of Britain. This is a crucial point, as it plants the first very rough seeds of ball games in the place that would eventually give birth to modern football. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe entered the Middle Ages, and football-like games took on a new folk identity. These weren't organized sports, they were mob football. The goals could be miles apart, sometimes being the church doors of the competing towns. The rules? There were hardly any. Kicking, punching, and gouging were all fair game. These events were massive, chaotic, and often destructive. They were so disruptive that authorities frequently tried to ban them. Kings from Edward II in England to James I of Scotland issued proclamations against the devilish game of football, citing public disorder and the fact that it distracted men from more useful pursuits like archery, which was vital for national defense. Despite the official disapproval, these folk games persisted for centuries. The real transformation began in the early 19th century, in the elite public schools of England. Schools like Eton, Harrow, and Rugby were trying to find ways to channel the energy of their students. Each school developed its own version of football. At Rugby School, a student named William Webb Ellis, as the legend goes, famously picked up the ball and ran with it in 1823, creating the foundation for the game of rugby. The problem was, when these schools tried to play against each other, chaos ensued because everyone was playing by different rules. In 1863, representatives from several of these schools and clubs met at the Freemasons Tavern in London. Their goal was to create a single unified set of rules for the game. This meeting led to the formation of the Football Association, or the FA, the world's first governing body for the sport. It was a heated process. One key point of contention was hacking, or kicking an opponent in the shins. With a standard set of rules, the game exploded in popularity across Britain. The working class, who now had Saturday afternoons off due to changing labor laws, embraced the sport wholeheartedly. It was simple to understand, didn't require much equipment, and provided a powerful sense of local identity and community. Clubs like Manchester United, Liverpool, and Arsenal started to form, many originating from workplaces or local church groups. The FA Cup, the world's oldest football competition, was established in 1871, providing a new level of organized competition and drama that captivated the public. The sport was no longer just a schoolboy pastime, it was becoming a professional spectacle. The British Empire, at its peak in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, became the vehicle for football's global expansion. British sailors, soldiers, merchants, and engineers took the game with them wherever they went. In South America, British railway workers in Argentina and Brazil introduced the game to locals, kicking a ball around during their breaks. In continental Europe, British expatriates founded some of the first football clubs, like Genoa in Italy and AC Milan, which was co-founded by two Englishmen. Each region soon added its own flavor. The Brazilians brought their flair and rhythm, the Italians their tactical discipline, and the Uruguayans their fierce fighting spirit. As the sport grew internationally, the need for a global governing body became obvious. And so, in 1904, representatives from 7 European nations met in Paris to form the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, better known to all of us as FIFA. Their primary mission was to oversee international competitions and standardize the laws of the game globally. The English FA, initially a bit arrogant, declined to join, believing they didn't need an international body. They would eventually join, but this initial reluctance shows how far the sport had come from its London roots. FIFA's most ambitious project was to create a true world championship. That dream became a reality in 1930. The visionary FIFA president, Jules Rimet, championed the idea of a global tournament. After much debate, Uruguay was chosen as the host nation, partly because they were the reigning Olympic champions and were celebrating their centenary of independence. However, the tournament's debut was a challenge. The long sea voyage to South America deterred many European teams. In the end, only 13 nations participated in the very first FIFA World Cup. The final was an all-South American affair, with host nation Uruguay defeating their rivals Argentina 4-2 in a passionate and historic match in Montevideo. The World Cup was born, and it laid the foundation for the global spectacle that today captivates billions every 4 years. From that first tournament, football's journey has been one of unstoppable growth. It has become more than just a sport, it's a cultural force. It has been a platform for social change, a source of national pride, and a common language spoken from the streets of Rio de Janeiro to the fields of rural Africa. It has produced global icons and moments of pure magic that are etched into our collective memory. The story of football is a story of human connection, of our need for community, competition, and play. And that's a wrap on our whirlwind tour of football's history. What part of football history do you find most interesting? Share in the comments. If you liked this video and picked up something new, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. See you in the next video.